This is absolutely insane news. This is probably the craziest news that's like ever come out of this game. But like we have the first set of banned cards in the One Piece card game. Now, up till now, we've had some cards with restrictions. We've had the OPO2 Marco was restricted to one per deck. Edward Newgate Super Rare was restricted to one per deck. Then we had Radical Beam restricted to one per deck. All red cards, but these cards are now banned. So we'll talk about them in a second. But Nami OPO1 is banned. Edward Newgate Leader banned. Curly DADAN banned. And Marco OPO3 Marco is restricted to one per deck now. Here's the thing. Let's talk about Nami first. Okay. The crazy part about this card is it has so many different alt arts. And this one right here, it's coming out literally in like a week or two. So I don't know what they're like doing with it, but there's so many different alt arts for this card. Now, why is this banned? The reason this card is banned, or Bandai, okay, well, first let's talk about why Bandai chose to do this, and then we'll talk about like my opinions and if it makes sense. This card is utilized in Law, Red Green Law, Zoro, and Whitebeard. Now, this card, it's basically the Straw Hat package. This is the key to the Straw Hat package. Now, in a Zoro deck, this helps you search all your cards. In a Law deck, it does the same thing, except with Law's ability, you can like replay searchers over and over. And for Whitebeard, this one also is like a big searcher card. You can find your Rush Luffy's. Now, this Edward Newgate Leader, this card is banned. Why? Well, it doesn't shock me, but the thing is, Edward Newgate has not only been topping events, but all the like top 10 deck lists have been like Edward Newgate. So this is quite literally insane to see. That, I mean, it makes sense, but it's insane to think that they'd actually like follow through with this. And for those of you who don't know this leader, which all of you do, it's a 6k leader, and at the end of your turn, you pick up one card from your life. Now, most people might think, wow, like you pick up a life card, like that sucks. Like, no, they're building up their hand, and Whitebeard players end up with like a full library of cards in their hand, and it's so hard to get that like final finish. And this card here was already restricted to one per deck. This card is insane. For red players, when you find this card, even after the restriction, like finding this card is like really, really good. But essentially, when you play it, your leader gains plus 2k until the start of your next turn. And then Dawn times 2 when attacking, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3000 power or less. And for Whitebeard players, it also says you can't you can't pick up a life card using your own effects. So it pairs well with the Whitebeard leader, and it makes them like not be able to pick up cards. Actually, I do apologize. These like these cards like the Nami, Dadan, and Newgate leader are not the first banned cards. I just remembered Moby Dick got banned, and I think Kabaji also was banned. But yeah, this one is huge for red though. So this card has been restricted already. And then we have Marco. Now there's two Marcos. Both of these, I will say, are kind of broken because this 4-drop Marco, you can revive it like basically by just discarding a Whitebeard pirate card. And this Marco on the right, you can revive it by trashing one event from your hand. So they're basically like unkillable characters. You know, obviously you're losing a little bit of hand size, but you know, at the end of the day, you get to keep this card on board. This is insane. For Whitebeard players, having this on board is insane. For Zoro, having this on is insane. I haven't really seen Law play it too much, but this card is insane. Now let's take a look at these leaders. So we just talked about Whitebeard, how Whitebeard got just like basically destroyed, right? It's banned. You can't even play that. But these three are three red leaders. Now the two on the right, Law and Zoro, are still top performing decks, even in the Asia version of the game. In all the way into OPO5, Law is still topping some events. Now, the reason these cards that we just talked about, like Dadan and Nami, are like insane in Law is because using Law's leader ability, you can basically play it and take it back, and like you can replay searchers. So you're just building up card advantage by using like all these searchers, and it's like with all of Law's cards and abilities, like it's just so insane to be able to do that. So that's why it got taken out of Law. And for Zoro, like having Dadan and Nami, like two strong searchers, it does definitely help build card advantage. Now, one reason why it was easy to take care of, well, not easy, but Zoro struggled a little bit at the start, like in OPO 1 and stuff, because they didn't have many searchers keeping up the card advantage. But once they had Dadan, you were able to play Dadan, find a searcher, and then play that searcher and essentially recover like 2 cards, right? So it was really beneficial. Now, just to talk about my boy Ace, I feel so bad. Like, at least Law is still playable, at least Zoro was still playable, and at least Whitebeard had such a good run. But Ace, they didn't even give my boy a chance. And now, just now, he just started performing decently well in some recent events, and now they're gonna do this to him. Like the Marco, getting rid of the Nami is whatever, getting rid of Dadan is whatever, but now you're restricting Marco. Like the second Marco, like Ace is like, this is gonna be so hard to recover from. Like I don't even know like how Ace is gonna be able to like get through this. Like this is insane. And the thing that I want to talk about with this whole like restriction is the fact that like I don't know, like personally I understand especially why Edward Newgate was banned, but we're at the end of OPO 4 now. OPO 5 is coming out in a month, and I almost feel like it's too late like for this, because in OPO 5 the meta is going to shift completely. Now obviously it's not a one-to-one with Asia, but it will shift, and we're seeing now like the top performing decks are like Purple Luffy, Akainu, Blue Black Akainu, like even Bello Betty's up there, but Whitebeard is nowhere to be seen, and that's Whitebeard without restrictions. So this Whitebeard was already restricted. Like I don't know, like I feel like this is just like kind of a little too late, but yeah, like those are my thoughts on it. Like let me know how you guys feel. Like this, like this is one of the craziest things. I literally was about to go to sleep and I just hopped out of bed to make this video because this is like one of the craziest things I've ever seen happen in this game. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching.